When he passed away, it was actually at his funeral. A friend of my dad's was like, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. I think we might sell the store. And he was like, why? You should do it. And I went to bed that night and woke up the next morning and called my mom and brother. And I was like, hey guys, I want to do it. And they're like, okay. Never done it before.
Today, I'm joined by Whitney Yates Woods, president at Yates Buick GMC. When Whitney's father passed, she had a choice: walk away or take the wheel. She chose the harder path, and it's why I'm speaking with her today. She's turned that single-point store into a platform, rising as a social media star while expanding the group beyond anything her father could have imagined. A big thank you to our sponsors for making today's episode possible: Lot Links, CDK Global, and CDG Dealer Consulting. And now let's get into the show. Whitney Yates Woods on the CDG podcast. Whitney, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you on. It's my favorite types of episodes where it's a fully organic appearance where I just happen to see someone doing really well on social, and I'm like, man, we need to get you on. You're crushing the game here with content, and so we want to explore your playbook, see what's going on.
Cool. I like it.
Before I ask you about yourself and your background, when did you decide, as dealer principal, GM of 2 stores, when did you decide to get really intentional about putting yourself out there and, creating content on Instagram? And I'm just curious kind of what your strategy has been.
So it was kind of a little bit of a journey. I originally started with, I need to hire an influencer or someone to do it for me. I just wasn't confident in my ability to get on camera and go for it. So I did. I hired a gal that spoke Spanish, and she did some Spanish speaking commercials and some social media stuff for me. And it just never really took off. She was fabulous, but there's something about being the brand and being yourself. And I had a friend that does PR, and she's like, you are the brand. Why don't you just get on there and do it? And I'm like, once you start doing it, it's not scary anymore. Now I love it. Yeah. I'm constantly thinking of things that I can do to make a video. So it kind of came back.
You get the buck.
Yep.
I'm telling you, dealers are the original influencers. When you think back to like TV ads, billboards, it's like, you always think of a dealer. Dealers are always there.
Like the goofy Halloween commercials and they've been making these funny commercials for a long time. So now it's just different.
I know.
Social.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that. I am curious, in 21, your dad passed away and you got thrown into the business. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience, that journey, even take us maybe a little bit before that and leading up to that point? What happened?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I had worked at the store as a receptionist. I helped my dad with marketing. I did a little bit of customer service, a little bit of things here and there, but nothing serious, no management, no leadership. And then I went into residential real estate, and I sold houses for 13 years and loved my career, and everything was great. And then he got really sick. He was sick for 2.5 months. And during that time, I had time to think about, what are we going to do with the store as a family? And I have a brother and a mother. They were totally on board. And when he passed away, it was actually at his funeral. A friend of my dad's was like, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. I think we might sell the store. And he was like, why? You should do it. And I went to bed that night and woke up the next morning and called my mom and brother. And I was like, hey guys, I want to do it. And they're like, okay. Never done it before. And, my mom was really confident in my ability. And she was like, I think it's great. I think it would be perfect. I think you're going to do awesome. Let's do it. So then we had to go get approval. I wasn't on the dealer agreement. I wasn't anywhere to be seen. No one knew me. So that was quite the process.
Wow. Okay. So first of all, that's an incredible story. Just how he kind of inspired you and you actually did it and you're executing very well. We'll talk about that. What was that like that learning curve tactically? How do you actually just do that, right? For someone it's not like you were even working in the store. So I want to understand, what do you do first, right? Your first day, what are you actually doing when you're in that store and getting, how do you bridge that learning curve?
that and also all the employees that worked here, I think everybody was nervous. People liked working here.
Yeah, they're like, who are you? What do you know about this industry? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I came in, I was just very confident and fake it till you make it. I wasn't ready. I was scared to death, but I also knew that I was doing it for my dad and my mom and my brother. And we have a small family, and I knew I could do it. I just really had faith in myself, and I walked in here, and actually the first thing I did was help my mom clean out my dad's office. It was unexpected death, and that was hard. And then I wanted to make it my own because I wanted General Motors to come in here and interview me and be confident that this girl knows her stuff and she can do it. And so that was actually the first thing I did. So we cleaned out the office. I made it my own. I started just meeting people and being around. I knew everybody. I'd always been around the store. I just never worked here. And I enrolled in NADA, the academy, immediately. And luckily at that time it was COVID, so it was online. So I was able to just get in right away and start. Yeah. So that was helpful. But honestly, it was helpful. But I think if I took the academy today, it would be much different. The experience, everything was so foreign to me at the time, that I was kind of just lost a little bit in those classes.
Now, what can you tell me about, I'm curious, like, I know there's unfortunate, unexpected death, as you mentioned. Was there any succession planning in place?
Nope, we had nothing. And I know it's stupid. We should have. I guess, he was still working. He loved this business. He started this store from the ground up. He was a used car salesman and worked his way all the way to owning a dealership. And this was like his baby. So we didn't really, I guess we just thought he was going to live forever. That's dumb to think. But at the time, we just didn't think about it.
Yeah, well, no, I asked because I'm sure there's other people listening that don't have succession planning in place. And we've spoken about it on the platform, but it's definitely, that's crazy. It's really, really
don't have it, you need to get it.
Yeah. All right. So tell us a little bit about it's been a couple of years now. I'll let you kind of tell us exactly how long it's been, but just, I want to understand, right, how this ramp up period has been like for you. You've taken these 2 stores. What was performance then? What is it now? Really, what have you done over the last couple of years? What I think is interesting about you as an operator is you've come in with very fresh eyes. And as I've mentioned before on the podcast, there's a guy in one of my old companies where he used to say, the new person is the most important for the first 6 months because they're seeing everything for the first time. They're bringing a fresh perspective. And so I want to understand from you, right? Having now been in the game for a couple of years, tell us a little bit about that journey leading up to today, right? What did you come into? Where are you at today? Where are your stores at today?
So I came in, and to be honest with you, we were underperforming in retail sales index, so our sales. And
is that Buick or Mitsu or both?
Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi's under construction right now. We're building it. We're opening January 3rd.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Buick was underperforming. Got it.
Buick and GMC were under retail sales index. And the big thing for me is that the OEM wasn't going to let a store that was underperforming just have this new dealer principal come in and get approved. So my giant push from the moment I walked in was we have to be meeting or exceeding RSI as quickly as possible so that I can show the OEM that I am capable and that I should take over. So that was it was like switching from the gross mindset to the volume mindset immediately. And I had advice. I had a really good friend in the business, a female dealer that's actually one of my competitors that totally helped me because she had gone through this her dad had passed too, and she had gone through this. And she was like, you need to get your store, meeting or exceeding RSI so that they see that you're capable. And so that was the big push from day one when I walked in. And I did have, people in place that were managing the store. And I decided I wasn't going to make any changes for 1 year. I wanted to get to know everybody. And like you said, that 6-month bird's eye view of what's happening as someone that has not been in the industry and see where I need to go from there.
Okay. Now, tactically, like, what was cash flow like? Were you profitable then? Was there cash in the bank to sustain operations, even if you were pushing for volume, potentially unprofitably?
So I was very fortunate, and my dad did run a very good operation. We had cash in the bank. He made money. He just didn't, I don't think RSI was as important to him. He was 70 years old and he had been doing this a long time, and he wasn't as interested in using the manufacturer as I am. And rightfully so. You know, he had a long haul at this career. So he did a great job, and he had a great used car operation, and we always have. So I was very, very fortunate to step into a dealership that was profitable, and things were going okay.
Mm-hmm. So,
but getting people to switch mindsets from max gross on every deal to let's lose $6,000 on the front to sell a car is very hard to do.
This episode is brought to you by CDK Global. When it comes to inventory, dealers are relying more and more on technology instead of their gut. That's why CDK has launched the Vehicle Inventory Suite. It centralizes your entire inventory in one place and uses AI and CDK data to help you price cars perfectly in seconds. And it even shows changes to car values in real time. Merchandising is lightning quick with AI-generated vehicle descriptions, image capture, and publishing, all under easy-to-use app. This competitively priced inventory solution will deliver for your store no matter what DMS you're currently using. Learn more at cdkglobal.com or by clicking the link in the show notes below.
And that's a very bold move. I mean, what happened to your volume once you started, changing pricing and really optimizing for volume? How to what extent did that impact your sales?
We probably do double the amount of new cars that we used to do. So,
what are you doing now? What's your volume roughly?
I think we sold 112 GMCs and 33 Buicks last month. So, wow. And then we still have our used cars, but yeah, so we do like 250-ish a month.
Mm-hmm. Has anything been eye-opening, or I should say that differently? What has been the most eye-opening for you in this experience, right? Having taken over this dealership, pushed it for growth, put yourself in as the dealer principal, approved by the manufacturer, doubling volume. I'm curious to know, what has really surprised you, if anything?
I think the biggest thing for me is I'm not surprised that I did it, but I was not prepared. I was not ready. I was not experienced. And I think the most eye-opening about this experience is that I really feel like anybody could do anything if you want to. You don't have to be ready.
I agree with that.
You don't have to be ready to have kids. You don't have to be ready to get married. You don't have to be ready to do all these things in life. But if you want them and you jump in, you're going to be ready. You're going to find the skills. And maybe it doesn't work out, and that's okay too, but you can try.
Yeah. I really do agree with you that it's a mindset thing, and that does impact. And I do find many cases with big decisions, at least in my life, it sounds counterintuitive, but sometimes I think about big decisions less than I do about small decisions.
True.
Kind of kind of did that a couple of times in my life when, choosing an education, choosing a house. So I don't know what that says about me, but sometimes you just gotta, dive right in.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta dive in and just do it.
I think there's a fine line between a risk taker and a gambler. So I don't want to fall into the latter bucket, but definitely, yeah, you have to have some, I guess call it gut feel at certain points and dive right in and believe that you'll make something good out of it.
Absolutely. So life is short. You got to just take the chance.
Yeah, well, tell me more about present day. You've doubled volume, so understood. Now, you did that extremely unprofitably early on. Has the profitability gap been bridged by now? Are we now doing similar volume more profitably?
Yes, we are. And we do rely a lot on back end profit, and the market in Phoenix is sort of like that. So I'm competing against my fellow dealers that are in the major metro. And, I've got to keep in line with what their pricing is too. So, but no, we're doing it and we're making money, and, we've remained profitable since COVID, and, it's been a good strategy. The volume, it's a whole wheel, right? So the more cars you sell, the more service you do. That's the thing that I really changed. We were losing money in service. We were always in the red, had been for several years. And thankfully I joined a 20 group and they saved my life. And they were like, what are you doing with your service department? And I honestly, you know how it is. I don't know I'm assuming you know how it is. If you're on the sales side, you're kind of all in on sales and you don't pay as much attention to service and parts. So I hired people to help me. I hired an advisor to come in and look at my service department, look at my parts department, tell me what changes I need to make. I told everybody, this guy is great. I've had nothing but positive reviews from him from other dealers, and we're going to do what he says. And I did it. and we make money in service now. And so and I mean, we have great absorption. And that was something that we have not had. And I didn't tackle that for a couple of years. So I would say like the start of year 3 is when I dove all in on service. First, I was kind of trying to figure out my life. But yeah, it's a whole wagon wheel. So you sell more cars, you service more cars, you make more money. It volume drives.
What is your absorption today?
It's like 84%, 85%.
And what's driven that? Like what changes did you make in service to get to that?
So, well, we had a lot of used car situation. We were buying, oh my gosh, we were buying so many used cars a month that the auto auction came down here to see where I was, if I was okay. Because the fees were so high, but we were kind of just like moving things around and then like reselling them later. And I was paying out a lot of money to various different positions that I didn't need. I didn't have good dispatching. I didn't have good management over there. That was a huge thing. I hired an excellent manager and he really helped turn things around and he really understands like NADA guidelines and things like that. I invested in training for my employees and for my manager. Everything has changed pretty much over there. But
where did you find as someone from, not without a very well entrenched network in the industry, where did you find this manager?
So I put out an ad and I interviewed probably 9-10 people and I did not like any of them. And I actually interviewed him first and, my controller suggested, she's like, why don't we interview him again? He was the most favorite. And so I did. And I'm like, wow, I was really wrong. I love the guy. He was terminated from somewhere else. I don't think you'll care that I say that. He was very honest about it, but I didn't care to know the story. Like you didn't steal. That's fine. I don't need to know what happened. You could go somewhere else and have a thriving career. It doesn't matter to me. I don't like to have people's past follow them into the new job. So he came in and I mean, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. So yeah, I got him from a competitor that let him go. That's
remarkable. And what has he changed? Like, could you speak to any specifics that have changed in the departments that you attribute to him?
Process. And he was a technician, so he really understands the training aspect. He gets these guys. I mean, he's always coming to me like, hey, they need to go to this. This is this much money, but then we're going to be, we've got a master tech. We've got a this, or that. He really understands the technician job more than any other manager. I think a lot of the managers come from advising and, that's kind of your traditional path, right? Your rock solid advisor works their way up and becomes the service manager, but he was a technician. So he has just a totally different perspective and understands the time and the money that we're putting into these techs and the pay and making it in line and all of those things. So he's just been really good for the department. Very process driven. That's amazing. I have to ask you, like, how did you even think about joining a 20 group? Who advised you on that? I feel like people from outside of the industry don't even know about that. Like, what is it? I think it was my dealer academy teachers. They're always pushing for the
fair.
NDA.
Okay, yeah.
But they were right. And I joined a women's group first, just women. And I thought that was going to be really good for me. And I went to one meeting and was like, I kind of want the perspective of male and female dealers. So I asked NADA to find me another group and they found me one that is actually awesome. There's 4 female dealers in the group, I think, and then the rest of them are male. But I mean, even having 4 female dealers is huge. So they picked that one for me because they knew that I could have both perspectives. Talk to us more about just growing the business, demand generation, back to social, right? I'm curious to know your overall marketing strategy. Can you give us what are you doing today from a marketing perspective? What's driving direct sales? Talk to us a little bit about it. Because I think one thing I appreciate about scrolling your Instagram feed is just your creativity. I was I'd like to think of a very creative operator as well. I was probably weaker on the logistics side, meaning it just wasn't as interesting to me. That's something I prefer to, find a compliment or like delegate to someone else. Right. And I stuck more to creativity. So I'm curious. By the way, another good example of this actually is Rita Case. She's very creative. What they've done down there in Florida. Yeah. I love her. I watched her get Time Dealer of the Year. Yeah. And just like the amenities down, they have like the free car washes. I mean, just like all these different things that enhance the experience. But I am curious, talk to us from a marketing perspective and not just social, but what are you doing today? How are you driving business, generating demand? Okay, so day one, I decided that we were going to create a brand. We're going to build Yates as a brand, not just in our area in Goodyear, but all over the Valley of the Sun, if you will. So I hired a PR company, and we had never had that before. And I didn't realize the value of PR at the time. And at first I was like, this is kind of a lot. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I went with it, and we still have the same company today. And she does a lot of free advertising with articles, writing articles about mom cars, writing articles about women in auto, writing articles about Mitsubishi, whatever it might be, Buick's, kind of rebrand and growth strategy, stuff like that. And so that actually gets a lot of traction. And then we scaled back on TV and radio. We were doing a lot of radio stuff. We've done everything, the mailers in the mail. So we kind of cut the budget for that type of marketing and really dove into the social media and the free marketing. And then we do some paid, social as well.
So let's wait one second before you go on. A couple things there. So I recently had Mario Murgado on the podcast, large group based in Miami and across the country, and he really leaned into the Hispanic community and market. That's just he literally says that's the markets they go after and they appeal to most, and that's their niche. You're saying that you've actually gone after women, and one of your strategies has been by way of PR and articles. Does that actually drive sales though? Like, how are you able to target that locally to drive local demand for your business?
Right. And it is hard to track unless people come in here and say, I'm here because I saw XYZ. It's not something that's as easy to track. You get the numbers on who read it and how many people and what the dollar amount would have been on something like that. But it is hard to track. However, we do hear all the time, like, oh, I saw your social. Even when I'm out in Phoenix, people are like, oh my gosh, you're that girl from the dealership. I follow you, or I follow the dealership. I love your TikTok or whatever it might be. So we do have a lot of, reviews, if you will, but I started a partnership with a girl that was in the WNBA, which she took off. So that was amazing for me. But people were like thinking I was nuts. Even people that worked here, they're like, what? You're going to let some basketball player girl drive one of our Hummers and you're going to try to market with her? Do people watch that? I'm like, yeah, they watch it. Are you nuts? Like, this is the best idea. And it turned out to be good.
This episode is brought to you by LotLinks. Want to move metal faster and make more on every deal? It's all inside the machine. LotLinks helps you take the guesswork out of inventory decisions. Their VIN manager shows you in real time which cars to stock, how to price them, and where to put your ad dollars so you're not wasting a cent. It's like having a crystal ball for your lot so you can buy smarter, price better, and sell quicker. Check out lotlinks.com, that's LOTLINX.com, or hit the link in the show notes below and see how the LotLinks machine can power your dealership.
And are these all your ideas? Are you like the creative spirit in dealership?
So I do have a really good marketing manager, Rusty, who was in here a minute ago helping me with setting all this up. And we have a note like on iPhone. This is how simple it is.
Rusty. I like that name.
Rusty. He's cool.
The class.
This is how simple it is. It's an iPhone note, and one of my friends is on it because she's creative and funny. I'm on it, and a couple employees from the dealership are on it, and we write down stuff like, oh, this would be a funny idea for a skit. And I even have like desk managers email me and be like, this happened today. This would be so funny in a skit. A lot of it's like real life. Like, we made hot dogs once in the showroom, and that whole skit came because one of the holiday weekends I was like looking on the cameras in the BDC and they were making hot dogs in a hot dog machine. I was like, wait, what are they doing? That'd be so funny if we made that into a skit. Just stuff like that. Silly.
Yeah. No, but it's incredible that you've cultivated that culture, because that's the best type of content, right? When it's organic and everyone is contributing. I also got to give you some feedback. You seem to do a very good job at finding specialists for specific roles, that's not like an entry level skill set. So I'm pretty impressed, meaning every time I ask you about something, you're telling me like, oh, I found this person. I hired that person. Where did you get that? How did you build that skill? Again, that's something that even like, early stage entrepreneurs and stuff, like, they're not delegation and finding a specialist, in order to get you to work on the business and not in the business it's typically like a stage 2 or 3 type of skill set that I consider in companies. And I am curious, like, were you a business owner previously? Did you have any experience in building teams or anything? I know you were in real estate. To me, that doesn't imply that you had a team. Maybe you did, but like, how did you even know that like, if I need this, I might have to find a PR firm, or I need a consultant for service, or like, who taught you that? Or how did you get that?
I think possibly my parents. I'm not really sure where I got it from. So I wasn't on a real estate team. I was just I worked
individual.
With the two of us.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any employees. That's a very big change from my previous life. And I think I read a lot, and I read a lot of business articles. I listen to a lot of business podcasts. I follow, like, my idol is Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. And I've listened to so many podcasts that she's done. I'm not kidding you. And she talks a lot about how it was just her in her apartment, like, fulfilling these orders, and how she had to scale her business to the next level if it ever grew. And so I think that I know my talents and my skill set. I know there's one of me. I know I'm a mom of 2 kids. I know I'm a wife. I know I have other things that I'm going to want to do in life. So I need to find really good people to surround myself with. And I'm so thankful that I have had the opportunity to find these people, because they drive the team. It's not me. It's everybody that works here. And we do have so much fun. Like, really, I mean, when they're not here, like, a couple of them, one of them turned 40 and they all left me for a weekend. And I was like, that's really sad without you guys. Like, we really do have fun together.
That's good. Talk to me in more detail about your social marketing strategy. Like, what type of content are you creating? What has been successfully generating sales?
Okay, so we do have paid content. I think about 13% of our content is paid, which I want to get up to like 30%. I've been reading some data that says that's like the key area that works well. But all of our viral stuff that we've been able to do has been really just organic. We did hire Russ Whips to come down.
But what is it though? But what are you doing? Are you doing skits? Are you kind of showcasing in-store experiences? Like, what is the content that's working?
So I think both. We do skits, and we kind of had a little storyline for a while there. And we still do funny skits. But I think one of my big things about the skits is we have to make sure that they relate to what we're selling and bring people into the store. So we've really been working on that lately. And even like, we had one on TikTok that had 250,000 views, and it was just explaining the new GM key card. It's kind of like the Tesla card to turn on the car for the EV Sierra. That one went crazy. And really all it was a lighthearted, I'm going to show you, it really does work. Good job, GM, and took off. So I think showcasing our vehicles, showcasing our service department and our employees. So we have female service advisors. I like to put them in the video so people know, hey, you could come down here and you could work with Ashley, or you could work with Chris, or whatever it may be. Just kind of showcasing our personality, as a store, and letting people know that when you come to Yates, you're going to work with us.
Mm-hmm. What has been some of the best performing content for you? Has it been like educational, like the Buick GMC one? Has it been funny? Can you like pinpoint a specific theme that's worked really well at generating business?
I think funny, but also people like to see the product. They love when we do the used cars we just got this week. The new stuff on the lot. We will sell so many.
Before reconditioning or after?
No, after. So we do a lot of those. And then a lot of the new, like, hey, do you like this color car? People will write in and be like, hey, I want that color. I want that one. If we talk about colors for some reason, it's a very popular conversation.
So one of my bad ideas that thankfully I did not pursue was to build the big brother of reconditioning, and to actually put cameras all over my reconditioning center where a customer can see the vehicle from the moment of acquisition all the way through getting at the front line, literally see like the recon process. Again, I know it's a terrible idea. I did not pursue it. And everyone listening is right now thinking of the 50,000 ways why this is, this would never work, blah, blah, blah. But it was an idea nonetheless, and I think it's unique and it's different. And it creates sort of that experience. It's kind of like seeing your baby, come back to life or something.
I think it's pretty cool. And the customer knows then what you did to the vehicle. Hey, we really did put all of this stuff on it, and now we're selling it. That's not a bad idea.
I think that there are certain things where, showing how the sausage is made is maybe not in the benefit of everyone. Not to say that like the customer, you don't disclose the bumper was painted. Cool. No one cares. But at the end of the day, they're a customer, right? We're the dealer. You see that bumper, maybe, scratched and like it just, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like seeing a house that's like not properly staged or like, bad pictures of a car. At the end of the day, I'm the consumer. Like, give me the finished product. I want something amazing.
Well, that's why we
tell me what you did.
Dirty cars on the website, it's like they have to be clean and look good. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. What is your merchandising strategy? Do you, like you said, you don't post dirty. So I'm assuming you're not posting any coming soons or anything like that. Or are you just putting listings without images? How are you doing that?
So we actually used to have, we were old school. We had like a guy with a camera that would take pictures of all of our inventory. This is the volume thing, right? Like we didn't have as many cars. Well, I've earned a lot of inventory by selling a lot of vehicles. So now we're getting cars dropped off every day and that does not work anymore. So then we hired a company to take the pictures. And then I realized I could use AI. So we use, I forget what program it is, but where they actually give us the image of the vehicle and the inside tour and it's all clean and nice and it's from the manufacturer.
What do you do for used?
We have a company that still takes the pictures of the used cars, but hopefully after they're clean, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about just overall with your day-to-day operations today. What are you focused on? What's occupying the majority of your brain space?
Currently, I'm more worried about the future and growth. I was able to get the Mitsubishi store, which I know some people, Mitsubishi, whatever, but it was a big feat in Arizona. There were a couple dealers that wanted to get the point and there was only one available. So, I worked on that pretty hard for a while and now it's being built. So we're dealing with, today I'm picking out the floor color for the sidewalks and stuff like that. Just those types of things. But I'm focused on growth mode and I was focused on growing, probably about 2 years in. I actually tried to buy another point in Arizona and, that didn't work out, but I've been looking at opportunities and trying to grow the store and the automotive group, if you will, from a single point to a multi-point family owned store.
Ask bluntly, like why? What's driving you?
I love it. And I don't know why. I feel like this is where I was supposed to be all along. I've had many careers. I was a school teacher for 1 year. I worked at Nordstrom. I did college advising for high school students. And then I sold real estate for 13 years. And I think all of those different experiences have like morphed me into the person I am now. And I finally feel like I'm in the position and industry that I was always meant to be in. I just maybe didn't realize it at the time. And I have 2 children and I want them to look at me and say, my mom did that and I'm really proud of her. And whether or not they want to do it too, I want them to have the option. And I want the legacy to continue that my dad worked so hard for. He didn't have any money. He was broke. He didn't come from a car dealership family. He was a used car dealer, a used car salesman. And when he met my mom, he told her he wanted to own a dealership. And she was like, cool. And it started as a used car point. And then he got GMC somehow with like $20,000. I'm not even kidding. And built it into what it is. And I want to continue it. I want to build it even bigger. And it's really hard to do nowadays, but
This episode is brought to you by CDG Dealer Consulting. We all know the right tech can make or break a dealership, so don't guess and don't do it alone. Backed by insights from 500 plus dealerships and completely free for dealers, CDG Dealer Consulting audits your tech stack, recommends the right products and vendors, and secures guaranteed best pricing. Our team then guides your rollout, integration, helping you avoid costly mistakes so you can hit the ground running. So discover dealership tech that actually works at cdgdealerconsulting.com or click the link in the show notes below. That's cdgdealerconsulting.com.
Tell me, I'm curious your decision to go Mitsubishi. I speak with lots of dealers that are selling Mitsu. Their new car sales have slowed. It's turned into, it's really a used car store, some say. And it's always been to a certain extent, but maybe a little bit more nowadays. Why did you decide to do that?
So I originally got a notice from them saying that there was an open point that was in a neighboring city. And I called and I was like, hey, I have land. I already owned the land next door to the dealership. And I was like, I could build a point, if it made sense. So we went through everything and I really feel, we can make it work with the used cars. And I also feel that my experience with a very reputable OEM that's already doing really well, Buick GMC, I can translate that to the new car sales and still make a go at it. I do obviously follow that the sales have slowed for Mitsubishi, but I have faith in the brand, and I think that we're really going to go on a good little run. And I'm excited about it. And I plan to sell a whole bunch of used cars out of there, and having 2 points and 2 used car hubs, if you will, I think will really help us with our used car game as well.
Wow. Okay. And then the land, was that just coincidental that you had land right next to that other dealership?
So the month that my dad died, it came up for sale, and he had been wanting to buy it, and we were able to get it for a great price, and I was going to hold on to it. And I had reached out to every OEM on LinkedIn, and you'd be surprised. You reach out to a CEO and they write back. Mm-hmm. I talked to a lot of them. And I mean, I was finding out that they hadn't put new points anywhere since 2018 or 2019. I mean, it was just really going to be hard to do. So when I got this opportunity, I went for it.
Would you consider partnering, or are you looking to grow the solo family? What's your thought?
So I've been very fortunate that we don't have any partners except for family, and it's a small family, like I told you.
Which was my assumption, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It would have to be the real right fit, because I know how hard that can be, especially with, dominant personalities and things like that. It would have to be somebody that was the right fit, or a financial backing that was the right fit. And I also know that growing in major metro markets, you probably are going to need some financial help, because these dealerships are not cheap. So I'm open to it.
Well, that's interesting. And I do agree with you. Yeah. There's always opportunity, but it is a big decision. So what's next I know you're opening the Mitsu store. What's next for the Buick GMC store? I mean, any other plans? Like I said, you've been growing sales, profits improved, right? You're doing a great job on social, really putting yourself out there, right? And anything keeping you up at night about the brands, about the stores? Like, any thoughts going through your head?
Everything keeps me up at night. I'm always thinking about this place. It's definitely, that's part of owning a business, right? You're always worried about the next thing, or, there's been so many wrenches in the road. When I started, it was COVID, then it's tariffs, then it's, part strike or port issues, or there's always going to be issues, and we just have to keep figuring out a way to pivot through the issues. For Buick GMC, I'd like to grow it even more. We have so much potential where we're at. This area that we were in was all farmland, and now we have Starbucks on every corner. So I'm in the primo spot to make it happen. I think we could be one of the top volume dealers. I mean, we're probably top 4 right now, but I think we could be number 1 in Arizona, and that's the goal. And I'm never going to stop trying for that. We have all the people now. We have all the population. We don't really have any excuses. We just need to keep working at it and make it happen.
What's your tech stack like?
We use Dealer Track. We had CDK when I came in, and I didn't want to pay all that money, so I switched to Dealer Track, which everyone hated me. But then CDK went down, and everybody loved me. We switched 1 month before the big boom of the cyber attack, so we got very lucky. Mm-hmm. We have Dealer Track. We have Rapid Recon that we use all the time for that. Obviously, Viato.
That's great. Mm-hmm. So I am curious, if there's anyone listening to this, or if there's someone in the industry that you could get connected to, is there a wish list person you'd like to connect to in this industry?
Yes.
Who?
I think it's obvious. Female, Mary Barra. She's the coolest.
Mary.
I love
all right.
Her.
Well, you know what?
I wrote her when my dad died. I wrote her an email, and she responded within 2 minutes, and it was really her. And she was like, wow, I'm so sorry for your loss. You sound like you're going to do great, and I have no doubt that you can do it. And it was just so reassuring. I hadn't even talked to my reps yet with General Motors. I just went straight and wrote her an email, and she responded. And it was what a woman. I mean, she has a huge job, and she's responding to some dealer's daughter in Arizona that just lost her dad that's telling her she wants to do this. I mean, it was just really cool. But I've never had the opportunity to meet her, so I would love to. Yeah.
I like how you just skip level all the reps and stuff and go to, no, because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because I'm the same way. A couple of months ago, I emailed my school, my alma mater for, I just wanted to say thank you to, there was like a scholarship I got at the time and there's someone who donated and it just came to mind, I was going through like a moment of gratitude and I was like, I just have to say thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's completely like, just so anyways, I asked them, I was like, hey, can you remind me like the name of this individual that contributed to this scholarship or whatever? And they gave me this whole like list, like there's a process. I'm like, get the hell out of here. So I started doing some reverse engineering and I ended up finding them. And it was just like completely just like, well, I'm going to take me through this stupid process. Like, let me just reach out to the person. By the way, they were thrilled. They were happy.
So cool.
And yeah, but like the whole, like, we're rebels, we like to kind of break the rules.
And they're not going to find out you were trying to find them because the person that's supposed to give them the message is not going to. So you got to give it to them yourself. I did that with that, like I was telling you, the WNBA thing. I didn't go through agents or anything like that. I went straight to DMs and was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? And it worked. And I think that there is a lesson in that. I've done it with the OEMs asking about new dealerships. Did it with Mary. Worked for you. Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe that's part of it. Just being a go-getter and going out there and talking to these people yourself.
Amazing. Well, Whitney, this has been super fun to have you on. You're doing some great things. I'm really curious to see how you're going to spin up your second point. It's exciting. From taking over a store that was, underperforming, but also very abruptly to growing it, improving sales, and now even expanding. You've done a great job. So we'll be following you. I didn't ask you, how did you come across Car Dealership Guy in the first place? I am curious about that.
I feel like I started following you immediately. I wrote you a message 2 years ago. I don't remember what the date was. It was last.
Did you really?
Yeah. And you wrote back and you were like, I said something like, oh, I think I should go on your pod. I have stories to tell. And then I got nervous. And I was like, I don't know if I really have stories to tell. That was dumb. So then you wrote back and you're like, let's do it. And I never responded.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. And then the message.
That's so funny.
The next time. So
amazing.
It all worked out.
Yeah. Well, 2 years later, here we are.
Yeah. I've always been a fan. I listen to all of them. So, and I get a lot of advice. Hey, I learn a lot about the market from your stuff. So thank you.
Very cool. Incredible work. Whitney Yates Woods, Yates Buick GMC, soon to be Mitsu. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been super fun.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Please give the podcast a rating, consider subscribing to the show, and check the show notes for links to what we talked about. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.